Creepypasta 1, the 30th of January 2021. The name, Red Room. And it begins now. So, I've been snooping around Reddit, in the more darker forums on Reddit, only getting the tip of the iceberg. I've been reading and doing quite a lot of research of the dark web, but I had never really had the guts to actually go on there. But one day I decided that I had done enough research to actually explore the dark web. I want to explore the internet in all of its crooks and crevices. So getting on the dark web was easy enough. Staying safe is the hard part, which is also why I'm sharing this story. While investigating the dark web through the surface web, a particular kind of site had grabbed my interest: red rooms. Now, I'm not really proud of this confession, but the thought of having a couple of people have complete control over someone's life. Heck, I'm a college student, so I wouldn't even have a word in this if I ever found a red room. But just to experience it. So after some snooping around the dark web, I had of course found the regular sites that sells drugs, hitmen, guns, etc. But while digging into some of the forums, I also found some more disturbing sites. Pedophiles sharing children's porn, cannibals sharing recipes of what parts of the human body tasting the best, and in which way to cook them. I get sucked into the cannibal part of the forum, by mistake of course. I found this very special site where the members would show cuts from what I could only assume was freshly killed people. The sickness of people got to me. Got me to keep digging. Each new page was more frightening than the last one. After some hours of just looking at cannibal forums, I visit a page showing how the best meat is actually from people who are still alive. The past page I had been on were parted body limbs and just cutting from dead limbs. But this page was dedicated to the freshest human recipes. Even cooking videos showing how they carefully take their knife through the thighs of the hostage, getting fine thin fillets. As they started to cut into the hostage, you could see the desperation in the hostage's eyes, because they knew exactly what was going on. This was most possibly going to be the end of them. They were struggling to keep awake, trying not to faint and possibly die before time. But the cannibals made sure that wasn't going to happen, because that would ruin the meat. So they slapped them, yelled at the hostages, trying to keep them awake. There would be the rare occasions where the hostage would die, and that's probably the cruelest thing I've seen. They'd just get dragged into another room where they'd probably rot with all the other corpses. After that night, I didn't sleep for a few days. The screams, the blood, the horror, it was too much. I felt useless, not knowing where these people were and if I could help them at all. And yet, I didn't do more to it because I was too big of a coward. Getting in that chair myself is a big risk. Possibly feeling the skin being slowly peeled off my bones as I'm fighting to stay alive for some sick cannibal just waiting to eat my meat? I couldn't bear it. I decided after being off the dark web for a little over a week to go back and find what I came for, a red room, and then quit for good. Looking at where I left off, I think I have a good chance at finding a red room. With some research on the cannibal forums, I finally found it. I sit back and enjoy my success. While stretched back in my chair, I look at my screen on the endless forums of past Red Room sessions and current Red Room sessions. My mind is starting to have processed what it is I've actually found. I'm about to watch innocent people get killed before my very eyes. But I've come this far. I'm not about to back out now. I click on one of the closed Red Room sessions. This one was a couple of weeks old. Just to get a feel on how it's going to be. And a closed Red Room is going to be well enough for me. It's set up in some old abandoned basement where the victim is sat in a room on a chair with their hands tied behind their back, with a gag and a blindfold. At first, not much is happening. Could this have been an aftermath of a red room? Something is happening. A red light has been turned on, and a man in an ice hockey mask walks in, bringing a table with him, with, from what I can see, have electrical tools, pliers, burners, a saw, and some other stuff as well. I get prepared for the show that I'm going to watch. There's a playback of the live chat. The man in the room takes off the blindfold and pulls down the gag of the victim and slaps her awake. She quickly gains conscience. When she sees the man in the ice hockey mask, she's shaking her bindings furiously, trying to get free. She screams for help on the top of her lungs. Help! The man is preparing the show, preparing his tools, waiting for a command in the chat. At this point, there are just a lot of people commenting. None of them are actually commanding anything. So they're just commenting like, slit the bitch's throat, burn her face off, cut her open. The chat is silenced by the first command. I read it out loud as I couldn't believe what I've just been paid for. Cut her tits off with a scalpel, paid with 2 bitcoins. The man begins to take the scalpel and a pair of scissors. He uses the scissors to cut off her shirt. All the while, the girl is crying to him, begging him to stop, but the man is just doing what he's been told. After cutting open the girl's shirts, he starts to cut. She screams in pain, as you can see the blood running down her body. The man manages to take off an entire breast without her dying. The girl's almost unconscious from the pain and blood loss. The man doesn't proceed with the second breast, making the commander sure that the show will be over soon if he continues. The commander doesn't care, commanding him to continue. I look around the red room for the things that have happened. Her breast is literally lying on the floor. 5 minutes go by from the first breast being cut off to him beginning the second one. She's sitting pale and with a pool of blood by her face. By her feet, my mistake. The man begins cutting off the second breast. The girl is barely alive at this point. She let out a scream of help. Not as loud as the first one, though. As the man have gotten through the half of the breast, she dies, falling over in her chair. As the man is still cutting through her breast, he gets the breast all the way off and shows it to the audience, claiming the show to be over. The commander is not satisfied. He sends in a new command, telling the man to kill himself. At first he hesitates to just slam the laptop shut, but then he pays for the command, saying, "Kill yourself by cutting off your penis." Pays 2 bitcoins. The chat goes off, encouraging the man to commit suicide. I think, what in the world is happening? Is this guy seriously about to take his own life just because someone paid him to do so? You can see the man hesitating as he walks around the room in the girl's blood. Splash, splash. He then unties the girl and pushes her off the chair and takes off his pants and sits down in the chair, taking the scalpel. You can see the man shaking while looking down at his groin, holding the scalpel. He lifts up the penis, starting to cut. Now it's the man who's screaming. He's screaming in pain as the blood is gushing out, just adding to the already big pool of blood. He's screaming, "Ah!" He gets a notification on another command when he finishes cutting off his penis. It's the commander again. "Cut your testicles off." Paid 1 bitcoin. He's stumbling around due to blood loss. He slips, but doesn't get hurt too much. He sits down in the chair again and starts to cut off his testicles. He's looking pale from blood loss. Both his hands are shaking uncontrollably. The rest of his body starts shaking. The comments flow, saying, "He's having a seizure." He's shaking around the floor in both his and the girl's blood. He's full covered in blood now, and have stopped shaking. He's dead. I'm in shock. I shut down my laptop and go to the bathroom. I throw some water in my face, trying to comprehend what I just saw. A girl was killed and a Red Room host took his own life. I dry off my face in a towel as I exit the bathroom. My foot bump into a box. How did I not notice that before? I take the towel around my neck. I had seen that this could be an outcome for snooping around too long on the dark web. I pick up the box, and when I do so, I get a strong, rotting smell. Whatever is in this box, it can't be good. I place it down on a table and open it. I get hit by the smell much stronger now. I gag. I look down the box. It's the girl's breast. I fall backwards, shaking. I slowly get my bearings, still shaking. There's something written on the inside of the box. Did you enjoy the show? I take a few steps back from the box, shaking. This can't be real. I don't know what to do. I sit in silence for around 10 minutes, trying to figure out what to do. I decide that I want to throw out the box as quickly as possible. So I put on a jacket, walking out with the box to the trash as quickly as I can. I feel relieved when I have thrown out the box and goes back to my apartment. When I get inside my apartment, I get stung by a needle, and the next thing I know is me waking up by being slapped by a guy in a baby face mask. I panic. I know what's going to happen. I scream for help as loud as I can. Help! This man is now preparing his tools for this Red Room show. I continue to scream. I hear the command sound. The man looks at me with a power drill in his hands. I can hear the drill whirling. I've accepted my fate and looks down into the concrete floor as the man keeps getting closer and closer. This was the first creepypasta for this new YouTube channel. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. This was completely written by me, and if you have any critiques at all, I will gladly appreciate it. I'd like to write some more and post them up here as well. So until next time, it is COVID, so stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.